Welcome to Overview of the CED Program Requirements and Resources. This presentation discusses the objectives of the CED program, outlines the responsibilities and expectations that CED grantees must meet, including program and federal requirements, and highlights resources and technical assistance available to help get your grant off to a strong start. The CED program provides technical and financial assistance for community economic development activities that address the economic needs of individuals with low income and their families. CED projects are expected to further the Department of Health and Human Services goals of strengthening families and promoting self-sufficiency through the creation of employment and business opportunities in low-income communities. The program has the following objectives: create job opportunities for individuals with low income, create and expand businesses in distressed communities, and increase investment in distressed communities. Jobs are a key component of economic self-sufficiency. This program is vital to helping individuals with low income become more self-sufficient because it helps revitalize communities and provide job opportunities. The investments provided by CED can spur opportunity. The ongoing funding of this program by Congress depends in part on the performance of existing awards. Everyone's attention to program requirements is important in demonstrating results and achieving program success. More importantly, the impact of this program for individuals with low income and distressed communities is dependent on the successful implementation of your CED projects. There are several requirements that go along with accepting federal grant funds. All grant funds must be treated in accordance with applicable federal rules and regulations, including the HHS Grants Policy Statement, uniform administrative requirements, and cost principles. Additionally, projects must also meet the following programmatic requirements: meet project milestones, use project partner agreements, and adhere to applicable rules and regulations, including forms and reporting. All non-construction CED projects have a grant period of 3 years. CED projects involving construction have a project period of 5 years. If your project period is 3 years, this means that you have to spend your grant funds within 3 years of the opening of your grant award. If your project period is 5 years, this means that you have to spend your grant funds within 5 years of the opening of your grant award. The project period for your grant was specified in your Notice of Grant Award, or NGA. The Viewing Your Notice of Grant Award presentation provides a step-by-step guide for how to view your NGA in Grant Solutions. Remember that your application included an implementation plan that would ensure you spend your funds within the required time frame, and that all positions created would remain in place for at least a year beyond your grant period. This plan should have also included realistic milestones with regard to business creation and/or expansion, job creation, and spending and leveraging funds that you'll report on throughout the life of your project. But as you put your plan into action, you are likely to face some challenges and hit roadblocks that may keep you from meeting every milestone included in your application. That's okay, but you should be prepared to address challenges and overcome roadblocks in order to spend your funds within the required time frame. Successful grantees don't just rely on the project plan submitted with their application, but evaluate their progress as they go and adjust their plans accordingly. You should work closely with your OCS program specialist and your OGM grants management specialist to notify them of any changes to your proposed project plan, and if needed, submit a written request to your OGM grants management specialist to change the scope of your project. You can submit this request through Grant Solutions. Additionally, it is always a good idea to also notify your OCS program specialist of such changes and requests. A few things to note regarding your project progress. First, no-cost extensions are not allowed beyond the 5-year project period without a deviation request. Second, a change of scope in the last year of the project is not permissible without department approval. So if partway through your project you believe you will need a no-cost extension or will need to initiate a change of scope, be sure to talk with your program specialist early, as it takes time to process deviation requests and department approval is not guaranteed. Throughout the course of your grant, you will work with project partners to successfully implement your projects. A project partner is defined as any individual, organization, or business entity participating in the project that is not the direct recipient of CED grant funds. Some examples of typical project partners include investors, donors, borrowers, a more experienced CDC, subsidiaries, an entity by which the grantee makes an equity investment or capitalizes a loan in support of grant purposes, or public assistance and other partner agencies responsible for administering child support enforcement, TANF, and employment education and training programs. You are required to use written and signed agreements to document relationships with your project partners. It is important to provide copies of these agreements to your OCS program specialist and OGM grants management specialist through Grant Solutions. Accessing your grant funds could be more difficult if you do not have these agreements in place and/or have not submitted copies of agreements to OGM and OCS. The Systems for Grant Administration section of the CED Grantee Orientation provides more information about using Grant Solutions to complete grant administration tasks, such as uploading your project partner agreements. Typically, project partner agreements take the form of letters of commitment, memorandums of understanding, or loan commitments. For these agreements to be effective, they should include a description of roles and the relationship between the applicant and project partner, explicit strategies for collaboration, a clear articulation of the contribution that the cooperating agency will make to the project, and in the case of loans, it should clearly articulate repayment and recovery schedules and strategies, as well as the number of jobs to be created. Agreements should also be signed by all parties. As noted earlier, all grant funds must be treated in accordance with the applicable federal rules and regulations. The first federal regulation is the HHS Grants Policy Statement, which includes the general terms and conditions of all HHS discretionary grant and cooperative agreement awards. This covers federal requirements related to civil rights, architectural barriers, and drug-free workplaces, as well as information on cost principles and financial management. Review this document carefully by going to the URL on the slide. Talk with your program specialist and/or grants management specialist about any questions or concerns you have. Second, the Uniform Administrative Requirements at 45 CFR Part 75 set forth administrative requirements for both HHS agencies and grant recipients. Note the required sections pertaining to financial management systems. An important issue to be aware of is that your grant funds must be kept separate and identifiable, even if the grant funding is only a portion of the total budget. Uniform administrative requirements specify that you are to adopt a financial system that allows you to provide a detailed breakdown of how grant funds were used. For instance, you are required to adopt a financial system that records the source and use of funds for project activities, as well as information pertaining to federal awards, authorizations, obligations, unobligated balances, assets, outlays, and income and interest. Note that this is exactly the type of information that you have to report in your financial status report. 45 CFR Part 75 includes a single audit requirement. A single audit combines annual financial statement audits with additional audit coverage of federal funds. All non-federal entities that expend $750,000 or more of federal awards in a year are required to obtain an annual audit. This audit does not need to be submitted to the Office of Community Services or the Office of Grants Management. ACF grantees are responsible for submitting their single audit reports electronically to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. Entities expending less than $750,000 in a year are exempt from federal audit requirements, but must make records available for review or audit by federal agencies or pass-through entities, i.e., non-federal entities from whom they receive federal funds, if requested. For submission requirements or any questions relating to auditing, please contact Payment Management Services. For specific questions and information concerning the submission process, visit the Federal Audit Clearinghouse page or call the toll-free number 800-253-0696. You can learn more about the Office of Community Services, the Office of Grants Management and Payment Management Services, as well as how to contact them in the Working with ACF Offices section of the CED Grantee Orientation. Throughout the life of your grant, you will be required to submit a variety of forms and regular reports. All grantees are required to submit the following items on a regular basis: the SF-425, or Federal Financial Form, which is how you report expenditures; the Federal Cash Transaction Report, which is how federal transactions are reported; and the Performance Progress Report, or PPR, which tracks the programmatic performance of your project. Depending on the nature of your project, you may also be required to submit one or more of the following: Disposition of Asset Plan of Loan Form, if you are using CED funds for a loan; Disposition of Asset Plan of Stocks Form, if you are using CED funds to purchase a stock or make an equity investment; SF-428, related to tangible personal property; and SF-429, related to real property. For more information on forms and reporting, please review the Standard Forms checklist in the Getting Started section of the CED Grantee Orientation. There are many resources available to assist you in implementing your CED grant. We encourage you to take advantage of them. Your OCS program specialist is available to address day-to-day questions about the implementation of your grant. Contact your assigned OGM Grants Management Specialist for questions and issues related to the financial aspects of your grant. The Working with ACF Offices section of the CED Grantee Orientation provides more information about how to get in touch with the OCS and OGM. The OCS Registrar provides assistance related to data collection and reporting, as well as other technical assistance needs. OCS also offers direct on-site and remote technical assistance provided by experts in the community economic development field. You can request direct TA by emailing ocsregistrar@icf.com. Go to the CED page of the OCS website to browse additional trainings, presentations, and information, including the CED Grantee Orientation.